Hey everybody, it's me, Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie. Just want to make this short video and talk about those John Lennon remixes that came out in the early 2000s. I think they did them over a span of a couple years or so. And what they did is they basically went into the studio, remixed the tracks. They kept everything at the same level, but they just sort of spread everything out. It sort of sounds like rearranging the furniture in the living room. Everything is still there, but it's just different. It's just more spread out, maybe a little bit brighter. And a lot of people have a problem with that. I don't know why, but I just wanted to talk about a few of the titles here because as I've been working throughout the weeks, I've been throwing these on and listening to them while I work, and I never really paid that much attention to them before, and I just wanted to talk about them now. The 1970 album, Plastic Ono Band, it was already well produced anyway, so it didn't have this big radical change. I mean, it's a lot punchier. Same with the Imagine album. It's not remixed as much. Some parts you can tell are definitely more spacious, but it's louder, it's punchier, and it really sounds good in this form. I'm not sure, maybe this remix was included in the big Imagine box set that came out. I'm not sure, but it's definitely something to check out. But the three albums that I think that really mattered, now of course I'm not going to talk about Sometime in New York City. I just won't listen to that album again. The three albums that I thought sounded horrible were the ones that John Lennon produced himself, and that would be Mind Games from 73, Walls and Bridges from 74, and Rock and Roll from 75. Now Mind Games, like I said, everything is still on the same level, but it's just spread out. So you're going to hear, if he has strings on the song, you're going to hear the strings maybe to the left and right instead of right down the center. Because a lot of times while listening to the Lennon albums, when I was growing up in the 70s, I always thought it sounded really tinny, where it didn't even need to be a stereo because it almost sounded like it was mixed down into mono. I just didn't think they sounded that great sonically, but this doesn't change too much, but like I said, rearranging the furniture. You hear guitars on the left and right that were originally down the center. You hear some things that were lost in the mix, floating around there somewhere, and it's, to me, Mind Games is a much, much better album. Now, I love Mind Games. I know a lot of people don't, but it just sounds so fantastic, and there are bonus tracks there as well. But I think it sounds like a great rock record now. I don't think it sounds like that tin canny. I just really wasn't into the way that Lennon produced his albums in the 70s. It sounded like he just spent time recording them, mixed them in an hour, and released them. Now, Walls and Bridges, of course, was the same way. Now, you can tell the difference between all the different versions because this is the cover of the remixed remaster of Walls and Bridges. And there's the tracks there. There are a few bonus tracks. But this album, again, it sounds just a lot punchier, a lot more full. You know, on Number 9 Dream, there's just so much separation with the different instruments. It still has that sort of tinny sound to it, but it's much better placed. I sort of think of it as, you know, when you look under your desk and all your computer wires and speaker wires and everything is just all mixed up, and then you got to go in and untangle them and then put them all straight together and put a little clamp around them. These are like the clamped versions of those albums. It's got all the same elements. It just sounds so much nicer, a lot cleaner. And Rock and Roll, which I've never been a fan of this album, and I'm still not a fan of this album, but it has Stand By Me on it. And that sounds much better too. Like I said, full, better placement of the instruments. These two are the two that really, really stand out. You know, Meat City sounds much more rock and roll. Tight As sounds much more rock and roll. I don't know if anyone really paid attention to these when they came out. Maybe you did. I got them, and I just sort of filed them away. And I realized, well, that's right. You can't get these versions streaming-wise. The only thing you can get right now streaming is when a couple years back when they did the full catalog remaster. Now, they remastered those from the original tapes. They didn't remaster them from these tapes. So these are now out of print. They are unavailable to stream, but you can still get them for really cheap online. So I would try to track them down. Search for remasters that came out between 2000 and 2004, and you're going to be able to find them for a really good price. I definitely recommend, if you want sonic upgrades of these, You can get the digitally remastered ones if you like that old production, but these just sonically sound so much better. These do sound better, but it's not as drastic a change as these. So anyway, that's it. If you never paid attention to them, I recommend that you do, because all this sounds really good, but you can't go sample them online because they're just not available. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to talk about these just for a few moments. I really appreciate your time. Remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, and until the next time, remember me. I'm Steve Schnee, the CD Junkie.